What's going on, everybody? It's EDN here, and today it's another week in the NFL, so that means another week of Eli versus the NFL. Last week was very, very bad. I actually went 5-8 with my straight-up picks and the spread, so yeah, not good. It was a weird week, I think, so I mean, I'm going to use that as my defense, but without further ado, we're going to hop into it. This week, I'm getting them all right. I'm going, how many games? I think it's like 13 games, 13 or 12. I'm going 13-0 or 12-0. I'm not missing a game.
Stop it. Get some help.
So we're first starting here with the Giants at the Redskins, or football team. That's my apologies. But the Redskins are minus 2.5 point favorite. In this game, I do like the Redskins, but I'm actually going to take the Giants to cover 2. Not too many huge injuries here. Devontae Freeman for the Giants is out. That's kind of big. I mean, they don't really have a solidified running back since Saquon's out. But I do think Washington's defense is legit, so I think they're going to be able to get a lot of turnovers off of Daniel Jones because he's kind of turnover prone at this point. But I do think they keep it close, so I think Washington wins, Giants cover at plus 2.5. So I think it's a really close game. Moving on to the next game, we have Seahawks at Bills. This game's going to be really interesting, honestly. We have the Seahawks minus 3, so they're supposed to win, even though they're on the road against the Bills, which is interesting. But man, both teams are pretty banged up right now. I think the Seahawks are more banged up out of the two. But I would see this year again, I'm going to pick the Seahawks to win, but I actually think the Bills are going to cover. I think it's going to be a close game as well. I think the weather's supposed to be pretty good in Buffalo tomorrow, so it's not going to be a super advantage. I mean, both teams are actually used to playing in pretty bad weather because Seattle's not the best, and Buffalo for sure isn't. But I do think the Seahawks pulled off. I just think they're the better team right now. But I do think the Bills keep it close. Their defense looks to be a little bit better than the Seahawks. But Seahawks might get better. You never know. But yeah, right here, Seahawks to win, Bills to cover, plus 3. Ooh, now here on CBS, it is Ravens at Colts. Ravens minus 1.5. This might be like my get the hammer out lock of the week. Kyle, if you're watching this, I'm sorry. I think the Ravens win and cover. I think it's kind of a get right week pretty much after the loss to the Steelers. I think they'll bounce back pretty well. I think their defense will get back on track really too. And I think Lamar will have a better game because he really struggled against the Steelers, what it seemed. But I do think the Ravens win and cover here and cover the minus 1.5. And moving on, it looks like this is a pick'em because it doesn't have any spread. So Lions at Vikings. This is a tough one. Both of these teams are kind of bad, honestly, right now. It seems like whatever team's going to win this might go on a little bit of a run. I think both teams have a pretty easy schedule after these next few weeks. But right now, the Lions are really banged up. Since this is a pick'em, I think I'm just going to take the Vikings. I think they're going to stick with what works. Dalvin Cook, if you just feed him, kind of keep the ball out of Kirk Cousins' hand, I think you can win the game. Especially since the Lions are so banged up, like Kenny Galladay's out. I mean, I guess that's the only one of real note, but I mean, that's huge. That's Stafford's number 1 receiver, so Galladay's been insane, and the fact that they don't have him is going to make it a lot harder to spread the ball around, I think. So I do think the Vikings win this, and they're home, so let's give Dalvin Cook the ball, and let's see another dub here. Ooh, this is a tough one. This one's an interesting matchup to me. So it's Chiefs-Panthers, Chiefs minus 10.5. That's really interesting to me. I'm kind of surprised it's such a big spread, but then again, I'm not, because I mean, they're the Chiefs. I mean, it's kind of crazy how good they are, how often. I mean, Mitchell Schwartz is out this week, which is pretty key. He's been the best right tackle in football, I think, past 2 or 3 years. So I think that does add an element that I don't think a lot of people will think about, because you just think Chiefs, they dominate. I picked the Chiefs not to cover last week. I think they cover this week and win. I mean, they're the Chiefs. I mean, I'm not really sure how much more you want me to. They have Patrick Mahomes. I mean, against anybody, my rationale is going to be, well, they have Patrick Mahomes and the other team doesn't, so they're probably going to win the game. And right here, we have the Bears at Titans, my bad. Titans minus 6.5. This is, I really think, okay, this is weird, but it's kind of a big deal that the Titans punter's out. Brett Kern's one of the best punters in the league, so that's kind of huge. But I do think the Titans right the ship here. I think they've been struggling a lot recently. I do think they win the game. I'm actually going to pick the Bears to cover here because I think, so my rationale is that the Bears defense is really good and the Titans defense isn't as good. So I think the Titans will win, but I think the Bears defense will keep it close, so that way they're still have a shot. But I think they might be Titans win by 3 or something like that, maybe 6. from like a weird missed field goal from one of the teams. But I do think Titans pull it out, but I think the Bears cover 6.5. And we have the Texans -7 at Jaguars. And this is kind of big. The Jags don't have Gardner Minshew. No Minshew Mania today. So that's a huge deal, really. So I think the Texans win and cover this. I mean, it's -7. I mean, you have Deshaun Watson, and you're playing a rookie who they have no idea. I don't even know what the guy's name. I'm trying to see if they have it in this little article. His name is Jake Luton. So, hey, if Jake Luton surprises me, that'd be crazy. But I do think the Texans have the upper hand right here. They look a little less banged up and less banged up at really important positions. So I think the Texans win and cover -7. And then we've got the Broncos at Falcons. Falcons are -4, but this is a big injury list again for the Broncos. It's going to be my upset of the week. I think the Broncos win this. I think the Broncos win and obviously cover if I think they're going to win. But yeah, this is kind of interesting to me. The Falcons are -4. I mean, they're coming off a win against the Panthers, I think, but that's kind of interesting. I mean, the Broncos has had a really good comeback against the Chargers. I mean, everybody's come back against Chargers, but still, as Falcons fans, you should be worried about that. Like, choke season's definitely been a thing in Georgia as of late. But yeah, I think the Broncos win and cover +3, and Broncos win. And moving on to the next game, it's another pick'em. So it's going to be Raiders at Chargers. So this one's really interesting to me. I think this is a close game. And I think it's going to have some crazy stuff in it. The Chargers are really banged up, and that's not good. Doesn't bode well for them. Raiders coming off a big win against the Browns pretty much, so they're going to kind of be battling each other for that last spot in the AFC, I think, and for the wild card. So I think the Raiders are going to come out with a force. Only thing that is, I mean, the Chargers, they might be missing Bosa, Allen, and Casey Hayward, which is pretty big. But the Raiders might be missing Josh Jacobs, which I think would be bigger because Josh Jacobs is so good, and he's been kind of their go-to this year. I'm going to pick the Raiders here. I think the Raiders keep their little streak alive. They keep rolling. I'm going to pick the Raiders to win and cover the spread since to pick them. So, and moving on to the next game. This is just tough. I mean, Steelers at Cowboys. Steelers -14 point favorites. Kind of crazy. Honestly, I think the Steelers are going to win and cover it, which is crazy to think about. I listened to part of my take, and one of their stats that they said is that the Cowboys are 0-8 against the spread right now, and if they would lose, like they don't cover this week, they would be the first team ever to go 0-9 against the spread. So that's interesting, and I'm going to root for history. So I'm going to pick the Steelers to win and cover -14. Moving right along, we've got the Dolphins at Cardinals -4.5. I think this is one of the more interesting matchups today. I think both teams are kind of like, this would be a contender-pretender, not contender really, but it's like if you're real or not kind of a game. Cardinals have a great offense, and the Dolphins have a good defense. So I think that's a really cool matchup to see. It'll be cool to see Tua again, see how he plays. He didn't play too well against the Rams, but he didn't really have to. So I guess, I mean, when you don't have to, pressure's kind of free. But I'm going to pick the Cardinals to win and cover here. I just think they're the better team. I mean, there's not really much reason. I just think their offense is going to be better than the Dolphins defense can do. And I think the Cardinals defense has got some playmakers on there, so I expect Chandler Jones to get involved, to be disruptive, and I expect him to tear it up and win. So Cardinals win and cover -4.5. Oh, and we've got Saints at Buccaneers -4.5. This one's another lock, I think. But yeah, I'm going to take the Buccaneers -4.5 and Buccaneers to win. I think that's a lock. I mean, the Saints don't have Michael Thomas again, which is kind of crazy. I don't know what's up with him. I wasn't surprised he wasn't traded, but I also I don't know what's going on with him. They haven't really said much either. But I think this is Antonio Brown's first game back too, so that'll be really interesting to see what happens. Ali Marpet's out, which is kind of big because their O-line's been having some trouble. But yeah, I think Buccaneers win and cover. Now we're putting that away because that was dumb. But last and certainly not least, oh my God, do you guys see this list? We have the Patriots -7.5 against the Jets. That is insane how many people are injured on the Patriots. Holy hell. That's unreal. That's unreal. I think this is going to be one of the ugliest Monday night games we've seen in recent history. I don't expect either team to play very well, but someone's got to win. So I think that the Patriots will win, but I'm going to pick the Jets to cover 2 weeks in a row, and it bit me in the ass last time, but we're going to pick them to cover. We're going to take the Patriots, but I do think the Jets cover +7.5, because why not? Jets, let's get frisky for once. Come on. But yeah, that's it. That's the whole slate of Sunday night games and the Monday night. let's see my picks. Hopefully I can get better. Last week was not good. Glad I didn't actually bet on any of these because that was ugly. But I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know if you guys think I was wrong, if I was right. Let me know what's your team. If you think your team's going to win, if they're going to lose, tell me why I'm right or tell me why I'm wrong. But until next Sunday for Eli versus the NFL, peace out and stay safe.